Hey there and welcome to the UkeStuff channel and welcome to this tutorial for the ukulele play-alongs of You Are My Sunshine by the Hound and the Fox. Now there already is a version of You Are My Sunshine on the Uke Play-alongs channel, which is the sister channel to this channel, but this version came to my attention and I wanted to share it. And I'm going to do this. In these tutorials I show the chords to play first on GCEA ukulele, then DGBE ukulele, and they talk strumming a little bit. Well, I'm offering it in two different keys. So we've got two sets of chords for GCEA, two sets of chords for DGBE, and then we'll talk strumming. Also, as always, just want to remind you that there are timestamps in the description below so you can jump ahead to things that matter to you. And the chord chart for this song, along with its a little different approach to lyrics, we'll talk about that in a second, can be found at ukestuff.com. So you can find the link in the description below, or you can go to ukestuff.com. We have a partnership, and every new song here on the UkeStuff channel and on the Uke Play-alongs channel is also over there at ukestuff.com. Now, one of the things I really liked about this song is that You Are My Sunshine is actually a pretty dark song. And in fact, if you ever play it in the minor key, it's almost fitting for the lyrics. Try it sometime. If you're playing in the key of C, generally those chords would be normally C, F, and G7. Well, in this case, you're going to play in the minor key C minor, F minor, and G7 and see what that sounds like. Now, the words have been changed a little bit for this song. It's their bedtime, sort of their lullaby version. So it has none of the sort of dark characteristics of the original lyrics of the song. So let's take a look at the chords you need on GCEA ukulele. And for all of these chords, I'll be using my Flight Spirit concert ukulele. All right, first of all, in the key of C, we're going to have the C chord. Then we're going to have the F chord. Then we're going to have the G chord. And then the A minor chord. Now, one of the things that you'll notice with the song is that there are really two things happening. I think you have a guitar that's just playing, for example, like two strings throughout. And we're not going to do that. But what I wanted to show you with the chords is that if you want to get, there's a little bass line that kind of goes bum, ba-dum, like that. You can approximate that by playing your C chord and then adding your first finger on the third string second fret. That's your up to a D and then back down to the C. So while you're strumming, you can do that. The next chord would be the G chord that does that. So with your pinky, you can go on the third string fourth fret while still making the G chord. Really makes an E minor chord, but you can go up and down like that. And if you need to do it on the F chord, you play the F chord and then just add the third finger to the third string second fret. So on GCEA ukulele, all the action, if you want to add that extra note, is on the third string. Then for the A minor, if you want to add that little passing note, give your A minor, add the third finger, second string. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but it certainly does add a little more color to the F chord. Back to the C chord. Then the G. Back to the C. So just one little finger things you can do to add, to sort of add that passing note that would normally be in the bass part. Now let's take a look at the chords you need for GCEA ukulele in the key of D. First chord is going to be D. The next chord is going to be G. The next chord is going to be A. And then the last chord is a bar chord, the B minor chord. Now, to play the B minor chord, make sure you're holding your ukulele firmly with your right hand, confidently with your right hand, and then pull against all four strings with your first finger, generally. Some people like to support it, but I encourage you, if you can, try to use only one finger. Pull against the fretboard at the second fret. And if you pull right, you don't even need your thumb, really, and that's going to help you, is pulling against it. The other little tip, again, all this idea from Craig Chi, is think about pressing with pressure right there on your finger. You're almost the middle fret, but you're pressing there instead of there. And when you do that, the rest of the note should come out clearly. It's kind of weird, but if you try putting pressure on the tip, it's not going to work. Put it there, and it's going to give you a clear sound. And then just balance, of course, with the thumb. And then reach over with the third finger on the fourth string, fourth fret. And that's your B minor chord. The piece, again, uses two instruments, it sounds like to me. One is a guitar that's just going back and forth like that, and the other is sort of a bass line. If you want to add the other notes that are happening, with the D chord, you can add the pinky to the third string, fourth fret for a moment. If you want to move to the G chord, you can add the pinky to, again, the third string, fourth fret. And then you can go back to the D chord, pinky on the third string, fourth fret. Then you've got the A chord. I would then use the third finger on the third string, second fret. And then back to the D chord. And then for B minor, if you want to add that passing note, you would play your B minor chord, then add your pinky to the third string, fourth fret. And that would be that little passing motif there. And that's how you can get those little passing lines only if you want to. If you don't want to play those chords, you don't have to. Now let's take a look at the chords you need for DGBE baritone ukulele. For baritone ukulele, I'll be playing my mainland baritone as a cedar top, rosewood back and sides. The first chord is a C chord. The second chord is a partial bar chord. A lot of people think it's hard. It's not so bad. You put your first finger across strings 1 and 2. You're holding your ukulele firmly with your right hand and you're pulling against the headstock. And when you do that, you'll clear up those first 2 strings without even using your thumb. And then when you add your thumb, it only just gives you more support for a nice clear sound, and then you add your other 2 fingers. That's your F chord, then your G chord, and then your A minor chord. Now, as the song goes, you're going to hear that there's a little walking thing that happens. Really, 2 things are happening. I think there are 2 instruments. One is that you have a guitar playing just 2 notes of it back and forth, and then you have another guitar playing sort of the bass line. So if you want to do that, I'm going to show you some real quick tricks here that you can do that with. So you play your C chord, then add your third finger on the third string, second fret, making A minor quick. So it's going to sound like this. All right, that's your first one. Then you've got your F chord. You're going to add your pinky to the third string, third fret. Then go back to your C chord. Then your G chord, you're going to add the first finger on the fourth string, second fret. And then you go back to your C chord. For the A minor chord, if you want to add that passing note, you play your A minor chord and then your pinky on the second string, third fret. And that's how you can sort of add that sort of walking note while you're playing, whether you're going to try something picking or whether you're going to try something strumming, which we'll talk about in a later part of this video. Now let's take a look at the chords you need in the key of D on DGBE ukulele. The first chord will be the D chord. The second chord will be the G chord. The third chord will be the A chord. And the final chord is the B minor chord. Now for B minor, I find on baritone it's easier for me to play 1, 2, fingers 1 and 2 on strings 1 and 2, frets 2 and 3, right? Then reach over with my third finger to play the fourth string, fourth fret, and then my pinky to play the third string, fourth fret. I just have a really hard time covering the 4 the other way. So if I flip my third and fourth fingers, I get a much cleaner B minor chord. Now, one of the things that happens on this song is as these chords are being played, I think there are 2 instruments playing. One plays just a little 2-note motif all the way through, and the other instrument adds a little bass line. So if you want to add that while you're playing and try to make it all at one time, what you'll do is you'll play your D chord, and then you'll add your pinky to the third string, fourth fret. That'd be the first one. Then for the G chord, you'll play your G chord, add the first string, 2nd fret, and go back to your D chord. And then for the A chord, this is the hardest one. You play the D chord, and then add your pinky to the 3rd string, 4th fret, and then come back to your D chord again. Now, if you want to add that little passing note on B minor, it's a little more tricky. And I'm not even going to pretend that I've got it mastered yet. The baritone is so much harder for me because of the larger spacing between the strings. Most of the time I play concert. But you'll have your B minor chord, and instead of playing it 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, you're now going to switch it to be playing 1, 2, 3, and covering strings 3 and 4 at the 4th fret. And then play with your pinky the 2nd string, 5th fret, and then come back. It's going to take a little bit of practice, and that's how you can get some of that little bass line feel in if you want to. When it comes to strumming for this song, there are a lot of things that you can do. You're not going to be able to replicate what you hear without playing 2 instruments at one time. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas of things that you can try. One thing that you can do is you can replicate the little 2 moving note thing that you hear on the guitar, and you can do that with the ukulele. I would suggest doing it with 3 strings, so you'll just ignore the 4th string altogether, but your thumb will play the 3rd string, your 1st finger will play the 2nd string, and your 3rd finger will play the 1st string, and you're going to alternate playing thumb on the 3, fingers 1 and 2 on strings 1 and 2. And just alternate like that. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. So that would work. If you want to try a strumming pattern, where there's 2 things we're going to do. First one is this, just simple strumming. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so let's take that apart. It's 2 measures put together. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. So that's your first part. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Let's try that again. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Full speed, it's... sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. So that would work too. Now, the other thing you can do in there is when you are playing along, you can add that little changing note that we talked about in the chords in the middle of it. So you start with a C. Play around with that too, but I think that down, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up works really well there. Or again, as I said earlier, just picking those couple notes. Now, if you don't want to deal with any of that and you just want to play single chords, or you find something else that you want to do, that's also okay, because remember, they're not playing with ukuleles, they're playing with guitars. That gives them a whole different context of what they can do, lower notes, everything else. Have fun with this one. It's not a terribly hard song, but it's a nice little positive twist on the song, and it's different. So wanted to share that with you. So thank you so much for watching the video, and I will be back soon with more tutorials and other resources for you.